Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, the weather here is beautiful, but there are some places that it's not looking so good, and other places the earth is shaking and rattling. Just today, New Zealand registered a 7.2 earthquake down there, and then California registered a 5.0 earthquake. There was also, about 2 weeks ago, week and a half or so ago, a swarm, a very small earthquakes along the New Madrid fault line. I mean, they weren't very big. Most, no one would have felt them, 1.1s, 1.5, 2.0s, but still a lot of activity there. Makes you wonder if they're kind of messing with the planet, or is this all natural? Also, there is a huge hurricane headed towards the east coast of the United States. It's possible that this could be the largest hurricane to ever hit the East Coast. And this is pretty serious. And although we talk about preparedness from a total global collapse perspective often on this channel, preparedness is also just getting ready for bad things happening in your life. And if you live along the East Coast, anywhere that this could hit, and it could still change, but I mean, if you just live around the East Coast, you should probably start taking precautions, because if this thing hits with the force that they're saying it could be pretty nasty. There's even some predictions showing that one or two other disturbances out there in the Atlantic may merge with this one somehow and make it even bigger. But we're talking potential winds of 180 to 200 miles an hour. Very few structures are built to withstand that level of wind speed unless they're specifically built to handle hurricanes. Most structures, even just a good quality site-built houses, rarely are built to withstand over about 160 mile an hour winds roughly, and that's pushing it. A lot of times it's 120 to 140 mile an hour winds. So if we're talking 200 mile an hour wind potential, especially gusts, maybe even higher than that, that is going to be very devastating. Now, I know the first thing on a lot of your minds is that I'm sure this is all being controlled and manipulated by the people controlling and manipulating the weather. Well, I can't prove that, but I'd say that there's probably a decent chance of that, even though they may not be actually causing this to happen. A lot of times what they're doing is simply moving moisture and heat around the planet to try to congregate it into one area and not in another area because of all of their ionization of the atmosphere and everything. So there's that's the more simpler form. But then, of course, there is direct energy and waves and HARP and stuff like that can, cause things like this to potentially happen, or at least intensify things. The bottom line is, and honestly, it doesn't matter if it's completely natural or not, it's happening, and you need to be getting ready for it. And who knows how this is going to play out? I mean, is this just going to be another big disaster? Is this going to be a big disaster that they use to usher in some more climate restrictions on us? Who knows, but get ready for that. But there's something else going on that has nothing whatsoever to do with the weather, because I like to just randomly segue into various other subjects because, I don't know, I'm just that way, I guess, sometimes. I try to stray away from going too deep into politics on this channel. Of course, I mention it, and of course I mock them, because they all should be mocked, because, well, the vast majority of them are all demonic. But the politicians, yeah, they're out there. But there's something that's being talked about and rumored online that, yeah, it's I think, worthy of talking about. And that's the possibility of Michelle Obama being the president this next time around. So it started off just the other day, Kamala Harris did an interview and was asked, is she ready to potentially take the banner of president if something were to happen? And of course she's like, oh, nothing's going to happen, but if in case it does, yes, I'm more than ready. There's rumors that, and of course these are all rumors, there's all kinds of crazy rumors that float around online, but there's rumors that are kind of building that it's possible we might see Joe Biden get some kind of illness or just get really more feeble sometime this fall and winter, and may just have to step down and let Kamala take the reins. Who knows what that's going to bring, other than just more incoherent gibberish from the White House. But the big talk is that Michelle Obama is setting her, him, they, self, I don't know what, who knows? I don't keep up with that kind of talk. Themselves, himself, herself, set themselves up for a run for the White House. Her own biographer has stated that she is following the same plan that Obama did leading up to his run for president. She's written a couple of biographies. Well, she didn't write them, you know that, slapped her name on it. She was the one that introduced Joe Biden at the 2020 Democrat National Convention, which Obama did the same thing for the previous, was it John Kerry, I think. So setting herself up is kind of the thing. And of course, Obama's been in the news a lot lately. And while most of the conservatives are kind of laughing at the story about Obama and his lover potential, accused, we're not going to make accusations that aren't, you know what I'm doing. It's actually seeming to not smear his name, but kind of make him a little bit more popular. And is she potentially setting herself up for a run? There's a video out there, you can watch it. It's Barack Obama's brother that lives over in Africa. And I guess it's the son of his father or something like that. I don't know. I don't keep up with it. I don't care. But I watched the video, and he's talking about a documentary and a book that's being written about the real history of Michelle Obama, expose kind of thing, that's supposed to be released this next year. And he talks about how Michelle Obama is potentially going to be the next president. Interesting. That's from Barack Obama's brother's mouth. Why am I even talking about this? We all know that the politicians, whoever gets in office, is someone that's been, bought and paid for and picked and chosen and all that kind of stuff. What I'm saying is that if any of this is true, I just can't see them trying to run Biden again. Even though the left just won't go for anyone on the conservative or Republican side, they just really don't like Biden. They're going to need someone pretty powerful, because they're going to steal this thing, and they got to make it look somewhat legitimate, maybe. And if they got Michelle in there to run, as much as you and I could not stomach that, the left would just be so invigorated, regardless of her true self came out or not. The left, I assure you, would be absolutely just invigorated. This is a hostile takeover of our government, of our world. It's all leading us to the plan, and I'm not trying to get bogged down into the weeds of American politics and left versus right, and all, because me, I couldn't care less about that. This is all leading us down a path of complete global domination. These oligarchs are taking over. They already have. They've taken over our country. They're taking over the world. They run the corporations and the banks and the universities and the healthcare systems, and they run it all. And we're watching the nosedive. It's become very pronounced by now. And if in fact Michelle Obama does run, folks, if someone like that got into office, I'd say you might as well just put the toe tag on it. It's done. It's done at that point. And I could see it very easily happening. So from a preparedness point of view, again, I couldn't care less about the politics. But if something like that does seem to be happening, we have to know that they're 100% in this. They know that the time is coming pretty close to where that final nail has been put into that coffin. This isn't any more of a playing a game of cat and mouse and trying to, it's done at that point, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but that's my opinion. We have to be ready for that. I've said this for weeks now. Stop this playing around. I don't want to purposely offend people, but if you're not really ready and you're just kind of playing around, playing house with your preps and playing house with, I'm kind of sort of ready and everything. I'm not making fun of you, but you're watching the wrong channel. Maybe you're fooling yourself. You're putting yourself in possibly more danger than someone that's not even doing anything, because you live on this false illusion that you think you're kind of prepared because you put a few things back and you kind of sort of did maybe something. Folks, this isn't going to be most likely a little upset. They're going for the whole thing, folks. This is biblical, and this is complete total domination. This is not going to be, most likely, I mean, I don't know. I'm making assumptions. You know what assumptions lead to, but still, I'm making an assumption. But it's under pretty good information that we're all starting to kind of compile. If this thing happens the way it's looking, it's complete, it's end game, it's done, set, done, right? And that's going to make things way worse than you can imagine. I mean, it's just not going to be, well, you know, my retirement's not worth as much. I lost some money in the stock market this week. Well, it really sucks to be paying $5, $6 a gallon. It's going to be done. And all the followers of this demonic beast system are going to be herded up into their little things, and all of you and I are going to have a target on our head. We're going to be the enemy, and we need to be ready for that. Now, I know that I'm speaking craziness for a lot of you. There's many of you that know what I'm saying is true. And at this point in the game, with me personally and this channel and what I'm doing locally, I don't care anymore. You know, I'm focused on this, and this is the message. And if you don't like it, you know, you find another train to ride on, because it's just not for you. But I'm telling you, the way things are lining up, politically, globally, economically, everything, socially, how it's all just, there's so much, and then you compare it all to the biblical references. We're setting up for the final match here, folks. And you better be getting serious. This isn't playtime anymore. This isn't hobby time anymore. This is serious time. I mean, if they're really serious about making Michelle the president, blah, 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 we know that that's pretty much, that's done at that point. The goose is cooked. How many more metaphors do I have to use in this video for you to realize how serious it is? So quit playing around, get your houses in order. I mean, there's tons and tons of videos on YouTube, not just mine, but many others, that you can go and figure out how to do it. Just get out. Get out of there. Figure some way out. Make it happen. Get out of the cities. Get away from all the wickedness. Find others. They're all over the place. I was contacted by someone this morning that's doing very similar things to what we're doing. They have a huge group, you know, a couple hundred people, kind of like what we've got. That's about, you know, the numbers that we're looking at. There's groups all over the place, small, medium, large. And you can also start your own. But the main thing is you got to get away from the evilness and the wickedness. You know, you're too close. Just get out of it. Get out of the concrete jungle and get out to where you can actually have a better chance. It's not guaranteed, but a better chance to survive, because your means of survival are now back into your hands and not dependent upon a corrupt, failing, demonic, satanic, evil, globalist system, which is exactly what we've watched build up around us and have allowed it, and allowed our people, our countrymen, to become dependent upon this corruptness. So get out and get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, because I think the day's coming pretty soon, a lot sooner than we probably realize. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.